Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine,
and Sportsbook.
This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here at the weigh-in for Dalton Smith versus Jose Zepeda. Start off, Eddie, with Jimmy Joe Flint and Campbell Hatton. Absolute fire. What was said up there?
Jimmy Joe Flint said money's not going to help you now. And Campbell Hatton said, I'm ready, let's have it. I love the fight. It's actually getting a huge amount of traction online because, you know, look, Campbell Hatton, he's been very lucky to get the opportunity that he's got. Right? I'm also from the same school that when you have a successful father, sometimes you get a little bit of a nudge up somewhere along the line. But you're always living in the shadows of your dad, which is quite difficult to do. Tomorrow night, he has a chance to emerge in a small way from the shadows, go into Jimmy Joe's backyard against the champion and beat him. I actually think he's the underdog in the fight. I think the bookie's making the slight favourite. But Jimmy Joe Flint, shape of his life, he's sold hundreds of tickets, the atmosphere is going to be brilliant, and it's all on Campbell Hatton. And this is the moment I love where the armbands come off and you stick him in the deep end and go, good luck, son, let's see if you can swim. And I think he's going to do a job tomorrow night. I think he's going to stop Jimmy Joe, who seems like a lovely fella. And Steffi Ball and the team, they think they're going to win. I disagree. And for all the criticism Campbell's had, tomorrow, whether you like him, whether you don't, you're going to see him in the deep end. So, again, let's hope he's ready to swim.
Williams misses weight by just over £4. Was that kind of sorted out before the weigh-in? Did we know?
Really. Once they come and check weigh, we were told by the team that there's a problem with the weight. He just couldn't get any more off. And it's disappointing because it's a lot of weight. And now, you know, for people that don't know, you have to go and sort out the deal, the situation. Ishmael Davis will want to fight because it's a chance of a final eliminator for the British title, but Troy's going to be big and strong in there tomorrow, or even though he's obviously tight at the weight. So sometimes there'll be an agreement between the parties to maybe re-weigh tomorrow because you don't want a fighter coming in and hydrating and having a big weight advantage. So although he's heavy on the scales now, Ishmael Davis and Sonny and the team will want to make sure that tomorrow morning or midday or as the fight approaches, there's no discrepancy in the weight, and I'm sure they'll do the job, and I believe the fight will take place. Terry Harper, Sandy Ryan, both in unbelievable condition. You're going to get a thriller in that fight. Brilliant domestic fight, obviously with world honours, and Zepeda looks great. It's a really tough fight for Dalton Smith. It's a really good card tomorrow night. You know, also Leviards against Merga to kick off 5 really good 50-50 or pick'em fights. Going to be a great night of boxing.
I think it's gone under the radar a bit that Terry Harper's fighting to become a free-weight world champion.
Yeah, I think sometimes, let's be honest, it's easier to win a world title in the female code than it is in the male code because there isn't the same depth in the divisions. But every time that Terry has won a world title, she's done it against a champion. And some female fighters have, you know, had an easier fight for vacant titles. Some people have to have a war for vacant titles. But I feel like now it's much more difficult to become a world champion in the female code. And Terry has got a very difficult fight against Sandy Ryan. But, you know, it's a pure 50-50 fight. Here's your boss. Look, what are you doing? Just I mean, look, I have to be honest. By the way, last time I wore an Everlast hoodie, the sales went through the roof. So this one, unbelievable. Do you know it was only £20 for the hoodie? And the material is fantastic. Everlast coming through. Watch this one fly over the weekend, because obviously I'm donning it. So yeah, great fight. And again, Dalton in a really tough fight, and it's what you want. Brilliant card.
Yeah, yesterday when you spoke to Coogan, you said that you expected Boxer to pull out Adam Azim from the purse bid before the fight. There's now only 24 hours to go.
I mean, there's two ways to look at it if you're them, right? If Dalton got beat or knocked out, they'd fancy the fight. So I didn't really think about it like that yesterday, but maybe they're going to wait till Sunday or Monday. But if Dalton Smith wins the fight, they are not taking this fight in a million years. If he gets beat and they think all of a sudden they could beat him, maybe they do. But obviously our plan is for Dalton to look sensational on Saturday night. And if he does that, there's no way Adam Azim's going to want to smoke with Dalton Smith. And, you know, it's disappointing. But at the same time, we're world level. So it is what it is.
Are you disappointed? Will you be disappointed?
But We would step back a level to fight Adam Azim because it's a big domestic fight. But Adam Azim is a really good fighter, but he's just not. You know, the McGuigans know how to bring a fighter through. They know that you can't just leap it up that level without fighting anyone. He's never boxed anyone of any note. So his time will come. And listen, what they'll say is, yeah, down the line it'll be a big fight. And maybe they're right. But you shouldn't talk about Keyshawn Davis and, you know, all these people, and Dalton. You know, it's almost like you're using Dalton for publicity. You know, some say we're using Adam Azim for publicity. No, the fight's been ordered, so we're talking about it. But I love the fight because I think we win. But, you know, if you're not ready, you're not ready. Just get out of the way.
Was Cameron Vong tongue-in-cheek, or is that a serious play?
What about Adam Azim? Yeah. No, we want Sam Jones. You know, obviously he's got a fight coming up with Jordan Flynn. But if Cameron Vong beats Jordan Flynn, he's not far away from the British title. So I think Adam Azim against Cameron Vong, you know, is more of a fight they might be ready for, bearing in mind Cameron's development, than obviously Dalton Smith. But, you know, Cameron needs the Jordan Flynn fight, maybe one more, and he'd definitely be ready for Adam Azim as well. Sam says he's ready for Adam Azim after Vong, after Flynn. But it's got to win that one first.
It's been in the news reports, potentially Chris Eubank Jr. is a free agent. What do you know about this? Is he?
Yeah, as we've been told, he's not. By Wasserman, who obviously are, you know, a big company, they know what they're doing, but that's their business, both of those guys. And look, Chris is a valuable asset to them or to anybody he's with in the future. And, you know, our focus is not on the signing of Chris Eubank Jr. Our focus is only on the making of the Chris Eubank Conor Benn fight. But whatever. I just think that he needs to really get himself in gear. When was the Liam Smith fight?
September.
You know, we're now coming up for April. That's already 6 months and he hasn't done anything. So that was a great win. Let's see him back in there.
Is Frank Smith still working away at that fight?
I'll leave it to Frank. Yeah. My head goes with all that sort of stuff because I just, you know, I feel like if a deal or a move is right for someone, I can sit down and just have a sensible conversation of common sense to make them understand and see why that is the right move. If we all agree, this is an impossible job.
Why though? Why?
Because he's just one of a kind. Like he doesn't really want to listen. He doesn't really want to. I don't think he really wants to get too involved in his career. I don't think he has bundles of desire. Like, it's just like, how much is it? No, I'm worth much more than that. Okay. I mean, why? I just am. Okay, see you later. You know, and you know, I think moving into 2024 and beyond, it's going to be an interesting time because a lot of fighters, not Chris Eubank Jr., but a lot of fighters have been overpaid. And I don't think that's always going to happen, especially in UK shows where you've got a business to run. So sometimes you have to let a fighter go, or you have to just give your honest opinion of the value of that fight. And if it doesn't match up with someone else's value of the fight, you can't just keep on doing it and break even or lose money. We're all trying to make sure that the fighter gets paid the maximum they can be paid, and the shows can work, they can exist, because that's how the business is maintained.
When are we getting news on this hearing for Conor Benn? It feels like every week it's going to be next week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I see everyone commenting on it, and, you know, UKAD's got to make their decision, and, you know, we'll wait on that. For us, we're ready to go with loads of fight. We want him to fight in the UK, and hopefully that can happen this summer. Obviously, April is coming up. He's boxed in February. We wanted him to fight in June. July is, you know, August. We don't really care, but he needs to fight this summer. And if it's not in the UK, he'll fight internationally. But hopefully he can fight in the UK.
How frustrated is it, Conor, at this point? Because his time is ticking now for this fight day.
It's been nearly 2 years since the test, which is, you know, like every day. There's other fighters that have failed tests. No one's even talked about it. And it seems like every day I'm doing another interview. And listen, he hasn't played it perfectly at times. But, like I said, 2 years, hopefully we can move on then.
Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua, could that happen? No, not next, no?
No. I mean, look, the plan for AJ is obviously to fight for the world title. So if that's against the winner of Fury Usyk, great. If not, it'll be against Hrgovic, you know, for the IBF world title. So listen, AJ would love to fight Dillian Whyte at some point, I'm sure. He would love to fight Deontay Wilder. at some point, I'm sure. The immediate focus is that World Championship, but I do expect, like, people ask me about the Wilder fight a lot, and I do expect AJ to fight Wilder because he wants that fight before he retires. But at the moment, the people that were paying that money for the fight aren't paying the money for that fight because he got beat. But I think Wilder will come again, and maybe the Dillian Whyte fight's there in the future as well.
You've seen the Tyson Fury training videos. He's getting a lot of praise online. He's looking very, very sharp. I know they're just videos, but do you think the delay could have benefited Tyson?
I think he was in shape anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I think Tyson's only going to get fitter from now to the camp. So, I don't necessarily think you should just get praise for training hard. I mean, a lot of fighters train hard every single day and always have done. But it's good to see Fury on it and in shape because he needs to be to win this fight. And we want him to win this fight. We need him to win this fight. So hopefully he does. And he'll have to be at his very best. And you want any fighter that's in a fight of this magnitude, you want both guys to go in the shapes of their career. And I think that's what will happen.
Just two more quick ones. Did you catch Joe Joyce's return fight last week against Cash Ali?
Yeah, I did. I mean, look, I really like Joe. I think he's a lovely bloke. And I think you can always get a load of criticism from a poor performance. What I would say, to stand up for Joe, is that sometimes when you're in a fight like that against Cash Ali, it's hard to look good. Like Joe rarely looks good, but he's effective, right? Because he's got great punch output, he's got a great engine, he did have a good chin, but I still think he's got a decent chin, but not the chin that he had. So, was it because he was undermotivated? Was it because Cash Ali's just was there to survive? Or was it that he's just not the fighter that he was? Probably a little bit of both, a little bit of everything. Joe Joyce, I don't think is the fighter that he was, but I'm sure there's still heavyweight fights that he could win. I saw Colin Hart come out today telling him he needs to retire ASAP. Maybe, but they also, Thomas Hauser said that AJ should retire after the Usyk fight because apparently he's shot. Now he's better than he's ever been. Did
you ever have that sit down with Thomas Hauser?
No, I'd fucking rather stick hot fucking coals in my eyes, to be honest with you. But anyway, so I've got an hour of my time to sit down with him and have a chat. Biggest waste of time in your life.
What would you say to him if he asked for an interview at a presser or something like that?
Listen, I'll never be rude to people, but when you attack, I felt maybe he's attacked me in the past, but he's definitely attacked Anthony Joshua for the purpose of only being able to have a story controversial enough to actually get into print with The Guardian, because otherwise, who's going to do a Thomas Hauser article in The Guardian? And it was disgusting what he wrote, and he's never apologised. And it was disgusting. He wasn't just saying about his opinion of AJ's boxing. He was talking about his opinion. He was talking about brain injuries and how he thinks AJ might. Never spoken to him, right? Never spent time with him. Never watched him spar. It was disgusting. But anyway, that's in the past. So the answer is no. And Thomas Hauser, who is a long-time historian and all this kind of stuff, relevance in boxing is zero. So for me to sit down with him, it's like winning the postcode lottery for him. So why would I give him that benefit when he's been so disrespectful to someone I'm very close to? So if he apologised and said, actually, I got that article terribly wrong, it was disgusting, I should never have written it, but I did it for clout, I'd go, all right, maybe we'll have a sit down. But until that day, no thank you, son. I'm going to go for a pizza instead.
Last one, is there more cause for concern for Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney?
I saw Ryan Garcia doing his sprints, I think, this morning, and his sparring. At the end of the day, we only see what he's posting on social media. Is his behaviour concerning? Probably yes. But how's he looking in the gym? Derek James is a very respectable trainer. I don't believe that Derek James would let Ryan Garcia go into a fight if he wasn't 100%. Oscar De La Hoya shouldn't be letting Ryan Garcia go in this fight if he's not 100% physically and mentally. The family shouldn't. So you've got to trust the people around him to make the right decisions. The fact that he's still in the fight with 4 weeks to go, you've probably got to think he's going to be in the fight. So...
You spoke to Devin about his behaviour, though?
Yeah, I don't think Devin's overly happy because Devin's training, and I said to him the other night, you just got to do what you do. Devin is the ultimate professional, right? He will never cut a corner. He's on it mentally all the time. So the only thing we're afraid of is that this fight gets pulled, Devin gets left with no fight and has spent all that money on camp, all that energy on camp for a guy that was really never going to get in the ring in the first place. Because if he gets pulled now, between now and the fight, he should have been pulled 4 weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully he makes it in the ring. He's got some good people around him who know the sport. Let's hope they make the right decision. And if that right decision is for him to fight, fantastic.
Eddie, tune in tomorrow night live on DAZN.
Listen, tune into DAZN tomorrow night. We've got a cracking card for you. 5 complete 50-50 fights live on DAZN around the world. Do not miss it. It's a brilliant show. Enjoy.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.